quite could forget, 'cause what we got so intense. I feel it again, I feel it again, I feel it again. We're bringing this back to life. Better off as strangers. Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, neath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. I go where the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering my name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone
Alright, guys, we are here with, obviously, Unbiased Perspectives, podcast number 12. Holy shit, we've done, like, we've been fairly consistent with this. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. Considering how...
You have been more consistent than me.
Well, yeah, but, like, considering how much I work and stuff, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, wow, okay, I'm consistent. Yay me. Alright.
Yeah. Back in the swing of things, eh?
Yeah. Well, they say 26 times and it becomes a habit.
26, not 24, not 27.
Is it 24 or 26?
I have no idea. I just thought it was funny that you said 26.
I think it's 26. 26 times and it becomes a habit. So, guys, welcome to Unbiased Perspectives, Volume 12. We're doing the intro again because some idiot forgot to hit record. But, guys...
Wow.
Boomer moment. But, alright, let's jump into it because we have a fair bit of news to cover for the day. And let's start with... We'll start with the Democrats, because at the end of the day, no one really cares too much about the Democrat nominee. I'm pretty much sure that Joe is going to be the nominee, Joe Biden. And, you know, people are wondering, you know, is this going to be Trump versus Joe, you know, take two?
They can't be that stupid, right? To
run
go with Joe Biden again?
Well, who else have they got?
I don't know, anyone else?
Gavin Newsom? I figured they were trying to run Gavin for a while.
Well then again, maybe they'll think it'll be a repeat of 2020.
I think that's what they're planning. I think they're hoping that Biden can pull it off again. Supposedly,
maybe he'll break the previous record. You know, most voted president.
Yeah, he got more votes than Barack Obama. That's impressive, right? But yeah, so let's have a look at President Joe Biden's approval rating. Right, so his approval and disapproval. His approval started at around 55%, 55.8%. Right?
Wow.
His approval is now at 41.7%. He's dropped a lot.
Yeah.
Now, he's always going to have that honeymoon period for like the first 6 months or whatever, which is why it was hanging around the 50% mark, and then it just starts cratering down. It does go up slightly around July, October, November, but then it's starting to go back down again. It started to go back down again in April. So he's, in comparison, his disapproval was at around 35.5%, and it's now around the 53.6%. So that's not good news. What else do we have here? We have the direction of the country, right? So wrong track, and then we've got right track down the bottom. Right track was around 23.1%. It got up to around the 45% mark, but then it started going down again, and now it's finished up on 22.5%, where the wrong track is now sitting at around 67.3%. So it's basically, it's gone down a little bit since he got into power. It's roughly where it was before. Sorry. It was at 69.3. It's now at 67.3. His right direction was at 23.1. It's now at 23.8. So it's roughly where it was when he first got into power. And then obviously the Republican presidential nominees. So this is what people care about the most. At the moment, Trump is sitting at 51.8%. DeSantis is down to 18.5%. And then you've got Pence at 5.6%, Ramaswamy at 5.5%, Haley at 3.5%. You've got someone at Scott at 3, and then you've got Chelsea, Christie at 2.5, Hutchins at 0.8. It's just yeah. The only real contender to Trump is basically still DeSantis. But there's a big gap between DeSantis and Trump. Like, Trump's at 51.8, DeSantis at 18.5. And, by the way, DeSantis is going down. Trump has actually gone down a little bit over the past couple of days. He was at 53.8. He's now down to 51. But that around the same time is the same as Vic Ramaswamy, who has gone up as well. So when you see in this, GOP's lead grows after latest indictment poll finds. So if we go back to this, you actually notice here, he was down to 51.0. He's now at 51.8. That's what they're talking about there. If we zoom into like the 14 days, you can see it sort of slightly goes up when it comes to the indictment. So former President Donald Trump has expanded his role over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the rest of the Republican field since Trump's latest indictment on federal crime charges, according to a new national NBC poll. So this is a different poll that we don't have at the moment. We'll bring that up. So still, the survey finds half of Republican primary voters say they would consider another leader besides Trump, which suggests a potential open for rival to capture the GOP nomination. Are they kidding? With him sitting at 51.8% and the closest being DeSantis at 18%? Wow, they are still trying to push DeSantis. Which,
DeSantis has fallen popularity a lot, huh?
Yeah. He's establishment.
I don't know why. Do you know why?
He's establishment. People are starting to wake up to the fact that, all right, where's DeSantis' money coming from? Who's the largest contributor to DeSantis? It's the establishment. Who's the politicians that have come out and cheered him on? People like Liz Cheney and the Bushes.
Wow.
They've given DeSantis an endorsement. I know Liz Cheney definitely has.
That's so toxic. That's toxic for you.
Yeah.
You destroy a candidate by... Yeah, okay.
So not only has he got the GOP money backing him, he's got the GOP candidates, establishment candidates that are vouching for him. Not only that, but also he looks like a man who basically talks a lot of game, but doesn't really do a lot. And that's why a lot of people are sort of like, and you got to remember too, like DeSantis, by the way, is being pushed by Dave Rubin, so maybe we need to have a chat to Dave. But like at the end of the day, he's still getting pushed by some of the GOP talking heads. Shapiro, by the way, is also pushing for DeSantis over Trump. Surprise, surprise. Little warmonger, Benny Shapiro. But at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people are sitting there thinking is that DeSantis here is just a GOP talking head establishment shill. So
yeah,
which I tend to agree with, to be honest. But like I say, and also the media tried to astroturf DeSantis so hard. You know, we had all those ads and all that media coverage months and months ago, you know, that DeSantis can beat Trump in a GOP nominee, and will DeSantis become the next GOP nominee, and, you know, why DeSantis should become the GOP nominee. It's like you had a whole bunch of leftoids or leftists pushing DeSantis to become the GOP nominee. Like,
and you can tell by repeating that line, GOP nominee.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, for a start, why would the GOP give two shits what the mainstream media thinks of DeSantis? Secondly, the establishment media pushing DeSantis does a lot more to hurt his credibility than they think. They thought they were doing him a favor. they probably ended up taking him. They really should just get them mouth shut. But anyway, but also for example, you had him on on the stage at the summit that was on just a couple of weekends ago. You had him just basically give a whole bunch of bad takes. There was the one where he went through and he used a AI created image of Trump and Fauci.
Yeah, I heard about that one
in his campaign. So now you've literally got him using deep fakes to try and discredit Trump. Just
bad move.
Yeah, just shit like that.
That's terrible.
That sort of shit is not going to make anybody want to vote. But here we have the polls that came out by NBC. Now, obviously, keep in mind this is obviously mainstream media. So for study purposes only, would you please tell me how old you are? So the vast majority were, say, 60 to 65 and 65 to 69 with 55. So it's a lot of the sort of the older generation were in there. But 76% were white and non-Hispanic whites was 72%. So total Democrat lean was at 42. Total Republican lean is at 41. So for a GOP poll, they asked Democrats why. Don't know. Vote in the Democratic primary, 32. Vote in the Republican primary was 34. Interesting that they asked more Democrats, but they also got more people to vote in the Republican Party. But anyway. Currently employed was at 62%. Non-employed was 36%. Right, so let's get to the actual figures. In a general, do you approve or disapprove of Joe Biden and he's doing as president? So it's 43% total approve. Total disapprove was at 53%. So total disapprove is somewhat disapprove, strongly disapprove, and not sure's. Where the total approvement at 43% was somewhat approve and strongly approve. Now, keep in mind, this here is pretty much 50-50 for Joe Biden and Trump supporters, right? Or GOP and Democrat. So
yeah,
this is going to be like a fairly balanced, middle of the road sort of like a finding. You would expect this total approve and disapprove to be around 50-50 because that's the sort of makeup that they've got in this poll. But to be honest, it actually should be more leaning towards approval than disapproval, right? Because it's their guy, right? But even with them putting slightly more Democrat than Republicans in this poll, the disapproval is still at 53%, while the total approval is at 43%. Like, even when you stack the poll with over half of your own people, you still can't get a 50-50 spread. Right direction or wrong track? All in all, do you think this nation are generally headed in the right direction, or do you think things are heading off in the wrong track? So right direction was in 20%, and 74% said the wrong track. So once again, slightly leaning Democrat poll, 74% of people said it was the wrong track. You can't even get 50-50 on the right or wrong track with stacking your own guys in the poll.
Yeah,
that's bad. That's really bad. But yeah,
I think a lot of it will be economy as well.
Yeah.
that people are upset with. But
So-
when you can't get your government to pay attention to anything to do with things that actually matter, and all they keep arguing about is niche things, that's just probably making people very upset.
So it's very interesting where they've gone through, and they've got the popularity of Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Very positive for Joe Biden in June of 2023 was at 18%. Somewhat positive was 21%. Neutral was 12%. For Donald Trump's popularity for the same period, so not president, 21% very positive, 13% somewhat positive, and 9% neutral. So, like I say, the very negative for Trump for June 23 was actually higher than Joe Biden by about 10%. Joe Biden was at 39, Trump was at 49. But like I said, this is also a poll or a poll that has been stacked slightly more Democrat than Trump than Republican. So by slightly. But the interesting thing here is Kamala Harris, very positive, somewhat positive, and neutral, is at 11, 21, and 16, respectively. The Supreme Court, very positive, it's 9, 22% for somewhat positive, 27 for neutral. The FBI, right, is 15% very positive, 22% somewhat positive, 27% neutral. Ron DeSantis, very positive, 14%, somewhat positive, 16% neutral was at 12. And the rest of them we don't even need to really get into because they're not even real. Let's face it, they're not even really contenders. Is the Vic is the only one that I would actually take any notice of besides Trump or Pence. Sorry, besides Trump or DeSantis. Is the Vic here? No. Oh, that's interesting. They left him off. They left the Vic Ramaswamy off this list.
Pretending he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's a thing, I believe, that pollsters do, and mainstream media.
Yeah, they've put like Chris Christie and stuff, which has less percentage than the Vic Ramaswamy. But he's not in this. He's not on this whole list. And neither, by the way, neither is Robert Kennedy Jr. Here we go. I found the Vic in one. Asked the Republican primary voters. 51% said Donald Trump is the first choice. Second choice is 12, which brings a combined choice to 63%. Ron DeSantis is at 22-31 for second choice. Collectively, it's combined, it's at 53. So, according to this poll, DeSantis is doing better than it seems like he's doing in the other polls. But keep in mind also, this is them asking also Democrats as well. Where's the Democrat one though? Joe Biden not having the necessarily mental and physical health to be president. 68% said it's a total majority or major concern.
Wow.
Joe Biden being re-elected to serve another 4 years as president. Total majority or moderate concern was at 60%. But then also Trump got a 58% on the same question as well if he was to serve a second term.
Wow.
I can't see anywhere here where they're talking about. Yeah, I can't see anywhere where they're asking about Robert Kennedy Jr. So that's definitely a thing. Trump world reveals over Ramaswamy's poll uptake to jab DeSantis. And to be honest, guys, look, between you and me, obviously, we're trying to keep things non-biased around here. At the end of the day, the uptake for the Ramaswamy, while it's okay and it's good, it's nothing major. Like, it's only gone up by about a couple of point percentages. It's nothing like what the Trump polls and the Trump people are trying to make it out to be. Some allies of Donald Trump appear giddy over the GOP foe, Vic Ramaswamy, recent uptake in the polls, because it means that the entrepreneur is gaining on the former president's hated key rival, DeSantis. Well, DeSantis has been dropping in the polls for months. So Ramaswamy, who now clocked in at 5.9% points, on the rear clear aggregate, which we've just seen, topped former Vice President Mike Pence at 5.7 to take over, dissenting third place. DeSantis is at 19.3 and Trump is at 51%, as we said before. So, like, the difference between these DeSantis and Trump on the rear clear politics is anywhere from 19 to 51%. There's a big jump between the two candidates there. Like if we go back to the graph, you can actually see the difference between the two. It's huge. And like I said, here's the Vic here with this slight uptake here. It's nowhere near as important as what they're making it out to be with the GOP candidate. Yeah, he's gone up recently, the Vic, good on him. But let's be honest, it's nothing major. It's not as what everybody makes it out to be. The president candidates who so far meet criteria to join first RNC debate. Obviously, Donald Trump, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, new Governor Chris Christie, whatever. The South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, and entrepreneur Vic Ramaswamy. Oh, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Who? Notice the one missing out of all this is Pence. So that's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. DeSantis makes an announcement about first GOP debate amid failing numbers. So Florida, Ron DeSantis has maintained a solid second place behind fellow shining state resident and former President Donald Trump throughout the 2024 GOP nomination cycle. But his numbers have begun to slip in recent weeks. Nevertheless, DeSantis said early this month that he has no intention of slowing down and indicating he would be on the first GOP debate stage next month, regardless of what Trump decides to show up or not. I think it'd be very, very bad for Trump if he doesn't show up and do the debate. I think that would be a major, major mistake. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Trump should show up to do the debates. He's done every other debates.
Yeah.
The only thing is, will anyone host him, and who will show up to debate him? That's the questions, I guess.
Well, this is the Republican nominee debate, so yes, he will definitely be hosted, because he is the leader. He definitely qualifies. And generally it'll be probably most likely Fox News that'll probably host it. Although it'd be interesting if they could get Tucker to do it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
cast, that would be amazing.
Or Joe Rogan even, or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, at the end of the day, I think it'll be a major mistake for Trump not to show up. It'll look like, first of all, Trump is scared to debate DeSantis. And B, also you got to remember, we got a whole bunch of viral memes from Trump debating. If he's on fire like he was last time, that's going to be good for his PR because the memes are going to start flowing again. The one thing that I think really, really helped Trump win in 2016 was the memeology. And we need some of that material back for memes and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I would say it'd be a very big mistake if he doesn't debate. It'd be, like I say, also it'd be a very big mistake for Joe Biden if Trump does win the nominee, if he doesn't debate Trump. I think both parties should have their nominee debates, and then both the leaders should debate each other in 3 debates. I don't think any of this whole COVID rule stuff where they're trying to make it out that it's no longer a thing, I think that's complete bullshit. I think they all should be there for the debating and stuff.
COVID's still, it's still a thing in America, isn't it?
Well, let's face it. The reason why they don't want Trump and Joe Biden to debate is because at the end of the day, Joe Biden's going to look like a bubbling idiot.
Yeah, true.
Like you got to, remember, like in 2020, for him to when he debated Trump for that very short time, what they have to do? Well, the rumors were they were boosting him up on drugs to keep him lucid and conscious, and conscious. And not only that, but also he had a nap, a sleep in the afternoon before going on the debate stage that night. He was basically away for most of the day because he was just resting and recovering and like trying to get ready for it. Like, don't get me wrong, he's president and everything like that. Yeah, it's a stressful job. But at the end of the day, like, if you have to have like a day of naps just so that you can be ready to debate somebody, and they also have to fill you up on drugs just to do that, like, what's he going to be like now, 4 years later? You know, he's obviously gotten worse, right? But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you reckon Trump or DeSantis? Who would you like to win? And then obviously at the end of the day, what are your thoughts about Joe Biden and Trump? Who would you vote for?
Well, if I was an American, I think I'd probably vote for a Trump RFK ticket. Trump for president, RFK vice.
Yeah.
That's what I would vote for.
I would really like that too, actually, to be honest. I think RFK has a lot to prove when it comes to the establishment because of literally his dad and his uncle being shot and killed. So if RFK and Trump were like running mates, I think that would be impressive. But here's the question for you. Do you think that the Republican base would be okay with him running with Robert Kennedy?
Yeah, I don't see anyone else that he could pick. That's I don't think there's anyone else. Maybe
Vic.
What's her name? From Hawaii. She would be another option.
Yeah. That's Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard would be a good option as well.
What about?
Then again, I'd also vote for a Tulsi as president, Trump as vice. I mean, that's another ticket that I think I would vote for as well if I was American.
I don't even think Tulsi's running for presidency. You see?
I don't know, but
I don't think she is. But what do you What are your thoughts about What do you thought about something like a Trump / Kerry Lake or something like that? Kerry Lake was the Arizona governor who's currently in court battles trying to win governorship of Arizona, I believe.
Oh, does she claim
election meddling? Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's actually made some progress in the court case. They're actually taking it to court. So.
Yeah, and she's they call her like far right, don't they?
Yeah. Who is
is that right?
Yeah, who is it far right these days?
I know.
Yeah.
I think Carrie Lake, unironically, that's what they call her though. She's pretty wacky, isn't she?
No, you're thinking of Major. You're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's pretty wacky. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
MTG. Let's just call her MTG.
She's not the crystal lady, right?
No.
Carrie Lake?
No.
Oh, okay.
MTG was the one that got up in the Senate and held up photos of Biden performing sex acts.
Okay.
Kerry Lake is the she's Republican. She's the one that went through and I believe she was the one that brought the restaurant shooters. Went through and gave all of it and made it a law in shooters where in the club in the bar where all the waitresses have to have a side arm. She was the one that was she was responsible for turning shooters into basically the safest bar on the planet. Which was a massive turnaround from how bad it was. Like when she took it over, the reason why she did this. So the full story is when she took it over, there was actually a bar fight outside the bar, and I think someone died or almost died, and she felt that her staff was not safe, so she brought in a law where all of her waitresses and waiters have to have a side piece. So like you'll go to shooters and like you'll literally be served with a girl with a say 9mm strapped to her hip.
That's amazing.
Yeah, kind of hot too. But I was going to say, but yeah, it became the safest bar in America, I believe, if not the world. Mainly because no one's stupid enough to try anything there because they're going to get shot. But yeah. But yeah, so like I say, I have a funny feeling he's probably going to pick someone like Kerry Lake, someone like that. I would probably hate it if it was someone like Nikki Haley. He's definitely not going to do Pence again. But yeah, he's going to pick someone that's got a low percentage, like someone that's like a small number, because he doesn't want the challenge to his presidency. And B, he obviously wants someone that's got some support. So I would say like he won't do DeSantis, because DeSantis would be a threat. Like if he ever got impeached, and then the vice president has a chance of becoming president, he wouldn't want someone that's got an 18% over a 2% or a 1%. So there's a lot of strategy in who you pick, right? But yeah. But as for RFK, I just don't know how the Republican base would go having a Democrat as the vice president. It's been done before. There were previous presidents that had the opposition as their vice president, and look, it would be a powerful message about bringing the country together.
They can do that?
Yeah, it's been done before.
Wow. Oh, wait. So you can have. So wait, they can do that. They can pick from the opposition a vice president of the opposition. I didn't even know they could do that.
Time presidents and vice presidents.
That's kind of cool. They should do that. Maybe Trump should do that. a Trump Biden ticket would be freaking hilarious. I'd vote for that just because it's funny.
Trump Biden.
I would vote that just because it's funny.
So how often have US presidents had vice presidents of the opposition party? The other two responders have given the correct answer. Okay, so what was their response? Great question. 2 times. 1796, John Adams and the Federalist Thomas Jefferson. That
doesn't happen often though.
No. So that was a Democrat and Republican ticket. And in 84, Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson, who was a Democrat.
Right.
The 1796 reason was unintentional. Back then, everyone ran for president, and whoever got the most votes was president. Whoever got the second most votes was VP.
Oh, that is interesting.
So at the end of the day, it's only really been once when it's like happened.
Yeah.
But that time was with Abe Lincoln and Andrew Johnson. So
Yup.
like they always go on about, Trump likes Abe Lincoln. It's, Trump's GOP is the party of Lincoln and stuff like that, right?
Right.
It is entirely possible that it happens. It like I said, it has happened before once. Trump would know his history. He does love all this sort of history when it comes to stuff like this. He would know that's been done before. But as much as I want it to happen, and as much as as you know, I do my person in the street interviews. I was actually speaking to a couple of people about this, and there was a guy that I was speaking to the other day who also said that he would love to hear this. He's like, but I don't think this will ever happen. And my response to him was, oh no, we're going to make this happen if we have to will it into society. But yeah, a bit of tongue-in-cheek there. But at the end of the day, like there is a fair bit of support for this, actually. A lot of people I've mentioned it to have been like, oh, that's interesting. Can they do that? And I was like, yeah, they can, actually. Yeah. But,
It sounds like a good idea just because of unity.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to prove that you were bringing the country together, trying to unite the country, then it's definitely one way to do it is to,
Yeah. I think America needs some unity.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. America's powder keg. There's so much instability, but like part of the instability too is financial system related stuff, and that is I don't see the solution there. I don't see the way out. No, that has to run its course. Got to go through deflation, collapse, there's all kinds of problems that just have to run their course.
Well, it doesn't have to run their course. Like at the end of the day, if they
the financial side of it,
if they
there's no way out there.
Well, there is. If they go through and they get someone who actually has some idea of what to do when it comes to finance, if they can get inflation under control again, they can get the spending under control again. If they can do that, there's no reason why they have to go through the collapse stage.
No, because the government doesn't have any power over the Federal Reserve. It's a private organization. They do what they want.
True, but it's the government
and all the rest of them. They do what they want.
Well, to a certain point, but at the end of the day, it's government spending that controls inflation.
Somewhat. There's government spending, and there's also what the monetary policy does, which is outside of the government control.
But the vast majority of it is government spending. Like, you got to remember, last time Trump was in the White House, inflation was at 1%.
Yes, that's one good side of what the government can do, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's a lot of things going on that are outside of government control, where they're bringing in the CBDCs and changing monetary policy, removing cash, all that stuff. So not much you can do with that.
No, that stuff you can't do anything with. But like, for example, the war in Ukraine, that is probably doing a lot to damage. Well, actually, it's probably doing a lot to help inflation at the moment. But it's also doing a lot for government spending, right? It's bad for bad government spending. Also, at the end of the day, it's also bad for like the military-industrial complex and giving them a whole bunch of cash, because now they've gone through and they've used. Hey John, how are you? They've gone through and they've used all their reserves for ammunition, and now they have to go through and make some more, which is where the government and the military makes their money, right? They've used up all their old stock of weapons and arsenals and bullets and bombs and stuff, and now they have to go through and build more, and this is where Halliburton and all these sort of BlackRock and all these companies make money. They reckon it's going to take up to 5 years to replace some of the ammunition just by building it that Biden has sent over to Ukraine. Like,
okay,
5 years.
Yeah, I didn't know manufacturing of weapons was that slow.
It's not. They've just sent a whole bucket load of it.
Oh, and ammo too. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not just the weapons, yeah. And
well, yeah. To be fair, the ones that are like 5 years wait is basically because of like things like, for example, it's mostly things like bombs, right? They do take longer to build than bullets, obviously. But even like with like ammunition and stuff, I think it was like a year or 2 years or something like that before they're back to like the stock levels that they should be at. Like at the moment, the US, the intelligence agency is warning the US not to get into conflict, because if there was war, the US might not have enough bullets to win the war.
That's crazy.
Like, and like, especially when it comes to like Russia and Ukraine, I think it was like Ukraine is firing something like 16,000 rounds an hour or something ridiculous. Hang on, let me bring this up. How many bullets per hour during Ukraine war? So here it is here. So Ukraine and Russia are firing more than 24,000 artillery rounds a day. That's artillery rounds. That's like tank rounds. They're firing 24,000 rounds a day. To give you an idea, so Russia is
shooting at
each other. Well, actually, it's mostly Russia. Russia is firing a staggering 20,000 artillery rounds per day. Well, Ukraine is firing around 4,000 to 7,000. Ukraine are quickly burning through their stockpile of artillery rounds and other ammunition.
But Russia, it must just be like old stuff that they just needed to get rid of, probably.
Yeah, they probably thought, oh, why not? And I think it was something like, and then if you like compare this to what the US fired more than amount of rounds per day in Iraq, they were only firing like 2,000 or something. So
yeah, they might want to slow down a little.
Who?
Ukraine and Russia.
Сьогодні окупанти завдали ударів.
They're making more.
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah, it doesn't say in here, but it was like this 24,000 rounds was like staggering much more than what the US was firing in Iraq, and that's why a lot of the war chiefs over in the US are like, oh shit, we can't compete against this, especially right now. Like if they got into a war with Russia, who's firing 20,000 rounds of artillery a day, they're like, we can't compete against this. That's fucking crazy.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway,
I find it staggering. It's like, wow, that's so much. I don't even know how they could do that.
So that's roughly
honestly, I had no idea that that countries could do that. I didn't know America or Russia or anyone could do like that kind of pace.
So to give you guys an idea, they are firing around 1,000 rounds per hour.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's amazing.
It's like, what's it like? What's 1,000 divided by 60? Divided by
16. Yeah,
16.
like how many per minute?
16 rounds a minute.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you've seen the RPM of like a minigun, right?
Yeah.
That's staggering. It's like it's tens of thousands like a minute or something, some crazy. It fires bullets so fast that the metal is basically a laser beam.
Yeah, but
a
that's
continuous laser beam.
but that's rounds. That's not artillery too.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like this is artillery. Artillery is mostly rounds from like tanks and anti-tank weapons. Like these are the big ass shells that like take two hands to load sort of stuff. I presume that's what they're talking about here.
They have auto loaders now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I'm saying, like it's like yeah.
No, the days of manual loading is over. It's all auto loaders. I think they did like back in World War II. They started with auto loaders, and now it's all automatic. Like
yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's like this is not like where you go up and load a belt of like 500 rounds in like 2 seconds. This is stuff where it takes like seconds like to load a round, and they're firing 1,000 rounds an hour. It's crazy. But guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, especially about this. I find this amount is just staggering, but yeah, let me know. All right, let's jump on to the second story for the day. Hunter Biden dialed then Vice President Joe Biden into dozens of meetings with foreign investors. Former partner claims. So Joe Biden was dialed into over 24 phone calls between Hunter Biden and his potential foreign business associates, according to the first son's former partner. Hunter Biden repeatedly dialed his father Joe Biden to woo potential business associates and overseas investors, and his former partner is expected to reveal in a bombshell testimony to Congress. Devon Archer, the junior Biden's former best friend and business partner, will be testifying to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee about his knowledge of the first family's business dealings with foreign investors. Wow, that line that Trump has more foreign investors in Russia than salad dressing is really coming back to bite him in the butt. Archer is expected to claim that his business partner repeatedly used his father to pull sway with foreign investors, some from Russia and Ukraine. Like I said, that line about foreign investors is kind of sounding like it might have been a bit projection there. By dialing him into meetings with more than 24 occasions. Biden, who was vice president at the time, may have not been aware of the presence of other people during every phone call with his son. He has often failed to acknowledge other people were listening in. Really? That's their argument? Hunter Biden used his father as a bargaining chip over a quarter of the business meetings Archer took, he claims. The 48-year-old businessman is facing jail time for allegedly partaking in a $60 million bond fraud scheme in the case that is currently going through the appeals process. So then obviously we have White House sidesteps question about Biden being dialed into Hunter's business meetings. So the White House didn't directly address the question Monday about a report that Hunter Biden put his father on speakerphone to talk to his overseas business partners, reiterating that President Biden has never been in business with his son, which we know is a complete lie, because we have emails that prove it now. A reporter asked the White House press secretary KJP on Monday's briefing whether the president's team stood behind the comment that he has never been involved and has never ever spoken to his son about his business. Sorry?
Never.
No. The president was never in business with his son, JP replied, which is weird because we have emails where he's supposedly giving 10% to the big guy.
Yeah. Jeez. They just lie. They just lie so much and so easily.
It's really weird too, because like if this was Trump, people would be screaming from the rooftops. He would be impeached about this. Now, I'm not saying the GOP is any better. If this was Trump, the GOP would probably be sticking their fingers in their hands saying la 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 la. But at the end of the day, if this was Trump, I would look at this and think this is bad. And I would say this is bad. I would say, guys, this is a very, very bad look. Hence why we call ourselves Unbiased Perspectives. But at the end of the day, guys, this is bad for Biden. This is really bad for Biden. This could cost him the election. People are going to look at this and think he is corrupt.
If they know about it.
Well, Twitter's not going to be stopping or censoring people. Well, actually, we might have an update on that, which is all bad news. Apparently, the new head or the new CEO of Twitter, this leftist chick, is pretty partisan when it comes to leaning in the Democrat way.
Yeah.
Apparently,
they're going to call it X, which is probably going to be the end of Twitter anyway.
Well, actually, it's one thing I thought about covering today. I don't know if we actually should. Probably should, actually.
Bad idea.
Covering X.
Calling it X.
Oh, yeah.
Renaming Twitter. Yeah.
Well,
bad idea.
I don't have a problem with the renaming of Twitter. I have a problem with what he wants to call it. So with Twitter, you have tweets, right?
Yeah.
With X, with X, he's calling it X's.
Yeah. The whole thing is it's terrible.
What's his deal with X?
It's the thing he does, like SpaceX and you know.
And his kid was like Exion or something, wasn't it? Or
some silly thing like that. Yeah, it's his thing, you know. He likes the X.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after. We'll break it down with the whole X thing. As for this, I don't sort of want to get too far into the weeds on the X thing at the moment because like we are talking about this.
No worries.
Yeah. Hunter Biden puts then VP dad Joe on the phone with business associates at least 24 times. Then you've got Hunter Biden to put then VP father Joe Biden on the speaker for multiple overseas business meetings. Hunter Biden dialed dad and Joe Biden calls with the international business partners. And by the way, it's a whole bunch of like, even left wing is like talking about this. Like the New York Post is talking about it. The Washington Times, the Washington Examiner is talking about it. Like obviously, obviously you've got Sky News talking about it, which you kind of expect. But like when it comes to like left wing is like even talking about this. Do you think they're going to use this to impeach Joe Biden and then go through and get him replaced like as a candidate? Or do you think they're going to be like, hey Joe, you've got this bad rap, drop out and we'll get someone like Gavin Newsom to run?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Could this be all set up to get rid of him?
Yeah, maybe. It will. I think we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just simply saying that at the end of the day, I wonder if they're going to use this to get rid of Joe Biden.
Well, if there was a way to get rid of Joe Biden without some kind of backlash, maybe that's the way to do it.
Maybe
some kind of scandal or something.
Maybe get enough pressure put on him so that he sits there and thinks, oof, okay. And then they turn around and say to Joe
Biden thinks?
They turn around and they'll say like get their friends in the media to slander him.
Yeah.
And then turn around and say, Joe, look, you've got all this negative publicity. You can A, step down from the presidency because of health, and we'll give you like a full, like honors salute sort of stuff. Like, like we'll let you go out as a hero. Or you can run against Trump in the GOP and we'll 25th amend you before then and replace you anyway. It's like, do you want to leave with honor or do you want to leave with disrespect? I wonder if that's what they're trying to do with this, because it's weird that we have a whole bunch of left-wing media attacking Joe Biden all of a sudden.
Yeah, you have to question everything.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What are your thoughts on this whole business partner Joe Biden calling his dad over 20 times, over 24 times to call him into business meetings? Do you think it's going to change the needle? Do you think it's fraud? Do you think he was just sitting there talking about golfing scores? What are your thoughts?
Corruption.
Yeah, corruption.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought when I saw it too. Was like, he's probably sitting there saying, "All right, if I get my dad on the phone, you give us this business deal, and we'll look after you when he becomes president." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep. I agree.
All right, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section regarding that. But yeah, I would say it's most likely going to be because of corruption, and that would be my response on it. But let us know what your thoughts. Alright guys, we're just going to take a very, very quick break for a sec. And then we'll jump into the third and fourth story. So just give me a break for literally 2 seconds. Alright guys, so just for those who are wondering why we went be right back, is we were just streaming and apparently everybody just got kicked out of our stream. And it just, yeah, just like that. Everybody that was watching just got booted. Yeah, talk about Joe Biden and all of a sudden that happens, eh? Alright, third thing, more Joe Biden. Note cards and short stares. How Joe Biden's campaign is addressing his age. Because obviously we're a bit thick around here and we obviously don't get the hint. Right, so obviously Washington President of the United States is tripping and falling is never a good moment in the throes of a re-election campaign. But when the president is 80 years old and already faces concerns that he's too old for another term, it's something of a crisis. Joe Biden's aide realized they had a problem last month when the president tripped over a sandbag. Those damn sandbags. Hard at the Air Force Academy's graduation ceremony. Afterwards, during the post-event recap, a few aides tried to figure out what may have gone wrong. Sandbag became a terrorist. And how to make sure that an embarrassing and dangerous incident never happens again, according to two people familiar with the discussion. Which is really, really funny because when I watched back the clip, I'm pretty sure I heard it say Allah Akbar. Biden's answer to voters was the question whether he's up to rigorous second term is simple. Watch me. Okay. Alright, so newspaper denies giving questions ahead of press in a conference after Joe Biden's latest cheat sheet gaffe. So he has, so this is back in April of 2023. He has a photo of the interviewer or the person that's going to be asking questions, so he knows who to point to. He has their name, how to pronounce their name, who they work for, and what looks like the question. So she's a foreign policy semiconductor manufacturer, which is the question's about. Looks like something, you squarely your something priorities like semiconductors, something with alliance, something we've run. So you can see that it looks like that's the question that he's going to get asked. And it actually has question 1 written up the top. So on April 26th, 2023, reporter Q&A, question 1 was supposed to be this cause Sobromani, which is obviously how it's pronounced. Thank you, cheat sheet. And by the way, he also has an earpiece in too, which I'm pretty sure is people going through and feeding him a whole bunch of questions or answers that he's you know, it'd be really, really funny if someone was to turn up to one of these events with like an EMF generator or something that stops electromagnetic fields or stops radio waves, and just watch him flounder when like someone was like asking him a question because he wouldn't be able to get a response. So here, at the end of the day, look, as for this, apparently they're going to give him shorter stares. They're going to give him note cards, stuff like that. This is how they're going to try and help him win in 2024. And also, like, even just like him, like, entering the plane now, they're actually using the entrance that's on the underbelly of the plane. Where Trump always used to use the door that was just the standard entry, which is up above the wings. But hey, what are your thoughts on Biden 2024? Short stairs, note cards, cheat sheets. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is still going to help him? Obviously, but what are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to matter, or do you think people are going to see through this? Or
they can try all they can. I mean, it'll probably work to some degree. I'm sure. It'll give him plenty of food for thought. But at the end of the day, I would like to hope that the voters are going to vote based on policies that actually matter to them, which we're seeing that's probably going to be the case.
Yeah, we saw it earlier with the previous story that we did, where it was like most Americans think America is heading in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So if that works, and you know the election is
fair,
you know it's not reinforced.
Yeah.
In any bad way, using their words, not mine.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully things will go better for America. Yeah.
All right. Let us know what your thoughts are, guys, in that comment section below. To be honest, look, I think that the whole short stairs, cheat sheets and stuff, I think it's going to help him, yes. But I also think people are going to notice it, and I think that Trump's base is going to have a field day pointing this stuff out and mocking him for it. So, it's kind of a thing was, okay, well, do you want to get mocked for falling upstairs and getting tripped over by sandbags? Or do you want to get mocked for, using small stairs and cheat sheets? But let us know your thoughts on the comment section below. All right. Oh boy, we have a controversial topic here.
Yes, awesome.
You're like, really? This is not going controversial? ESP anchor and former soccer star Shakira Hasloop collapses live on TV.
Set from PSG.
Okay, one of those ones. When you said controversial, I didn't know it was going to be that.
Yeah.
That's really controversial.
By the way, he's also been a pro-vaccine campaign and was actually advocating for everybody to get vaccinated. Not that they're related, YouTube, because apparently the vaccine is safe and effective, right? So we're not saying they're related. We're just saying, he was a part of the pro-vaccine campaign and has actually collapsed live on TV. I do have the clip and we'll play it. It's only a very short clip. It's 18 seconds. But let's play it now.
He's not gone on the tour of Japan. What have you missed? What have you seen? Shaq! Wait, we need some help. We need medical. Medical. Okay.
So you can see here when he's talking to him,
He's on the naughty set from PSG.
He starts to fall forward and then he sort of corrects himself.
Not gone on the
and then he sort of steps back.
Tour of Japan. What have you missed? What have you seen?
And then he just collapses, falls basically on his face and falls on the ground.
Yeah, very painful looking.
Yeah. So, too early to diagnose, but we can say without a shadow, it wasn't the vax.
So much better.
According to him.
I'm here to implore you, go out and get vaccinated.
Yeah, I don't believe
I got mine months ago and I felt so much better.
So this is...
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, YouTube, sorry.
Yeah. And this is where he's obviously gone through and was pro-vaccine.
For it.
Yeah. This happens a lot. I think that there's actually a thing I've seen where it's like instant karma. They say how they got the poke, and then not much longer later, either something horrible happens, or they go 10 feet under.
Well,
it happens a lot.
Justin Bieber had to cancel his Australia-Asia tour because he was having some disease that was generally related to people that are in their 60s. But is also apparently been pretty common in some people that have got certain medical procedures. You got Katy Perry with her funny eye that has played up a few times. You've had a lot of celebrities who have been collapsing on stage. There is the comic, the female comic, who was doing a bit where she was talking about how she's got all the vaccinations, she feels fine and she feels great, and then she literally collapses on stage. To be honest, everybody thought it was part of the joke.
Because of what she was saying, she was talking about God.
No, she was talking about vaccines, being vaccinated.
Yeah, but I think she said something about the comedian. She said something about God or whatever, and then she got struck down.
She might have said something like, "Oh, God struck me down" or something like that. But I don't know. But at the end of the day, the bit was mostly about the vaccines and how she's had all the vaccinations and she's vaxxed up to the wazoo, I believe she said. And then she just...
this might be a different one.
Yeah. And then she literally just collapses on stage. And like I said, everybody thought it was part of the joke because, she's going on about how she feels great and then she collapses and then people like after a few minutes were like, oh no, wait, hang on, this is not a joke. She actually has collapsed. Zach Hapslow conscious after collapsing on TV before Real Madrid Milan friendly. the former West Ham and Newcastle goalkeeper Shaq Hasbro is conscious after he collapsed before Sunday's friendly between the Real Madrid and Milan. Hasbro, who has made 26 appearances for the Tin Bag and Tomago, I'm getting that name wrong, was working as a pundit for ESPN in California when he fell to the ground during a pitch-side interview with at the Rose Bowl. His ESPN colleague Dan Thompson immediately called for help and later provided a positive update during the halftime. But no sort of word there on what caused it. Scary scenes as ESPN commentator Shaq Hasbro collapses live on TV. ESPN commentator is recovering after collapsing while on air during the friendly with Real Madrid at the Rosbo. Does it say what he's the 54-year-old then fell face first into Thomas before collapsing on the ground.
You know, I really do have the question as to how much longer do we have to pretend that it has nothing to do with a certain medical procedure? Like, how much longer does the gaslighting have to continue?
As long as the YouTube overlords deem it necessary for us to not mention that, I suppose, is the answer. But, you know...
Yeah, not just YouTube, but, like, establishment-wise as well, you know? Like, mainstream media, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just... I don't know what... This is the worst gaslighting I've ever seen of society, and people don't say anything. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, well, we're probably one of the very few people that are going to be talking about it on YouTube. And like I said, just to reiterate and make the YouTube gods happy, obviously we're not saying there's anything wrong with the vax. It's safe and secure. Wink, wink. Right?
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, there's just something interesting I thought you might like to hear about.
Sure.
That line, safe and effective, did you know that that's not new? That actually wasn't a new thing for 2020, like all that stuff?
No, it's probably
these last few years?
Been used in other ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's actually close to like 30, 40, maybe 50 years old. It's been used to describe that kind of medical procedure for decades. I had no idea.
Makes sense, right? Because if you want to go through and prove, if you want to tie someone to something that's been around for a while that is safe and effective, you use the old slogan, right?
Yeah, it's a slogan that apparently has just gone on for a very long time.
People will subconsciously link the two together. They're saying it's far too early to make any sort of diagnosis, but the important thing is that he's okay. Now, he has got a message after collapsing at the Rose Bowl. Let's see what he has to say.
Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Casey Keller and Sebastian Salazar. Later on in the show, Ilka Gundogan will be joining us to reflect on Manchester City's success last season and looking ahead to his new season at Barcelona. Plus, Sid and Jules will be here to discuss the possibility of Kylian Mbappe maybe moving to Saudi Arabia for a season before he goes to Real Madrid. But we start with the news on Shaq, in case you missed it yesterday. Obviously, Shaq had collapsed ahead of the game at the Rose Bowl between Real Madrid and AC Milan. We've received so many messages from everyone. I'm pleased that Shaq has recorded this.
Well, that was awkward. What a 24 hours this has been. Listen, every so often life gives you a moment to pause, and this was mine. There's so much I have to be thankful for. My wife, kids, family, loved ones, friends, people I've shared a space with over the years and have lost touch with for whatever reason.
You're also thankful for certain medical procedures that you've advocated for in the past? Just asking for a friend.
And I reached out to
Me?
No, this guy. He's like going through and talking about... He's talking about, like, thankful for things. Downtown. Hey, Downtown, how are you, buddy? Safe for who? Yeah. You can say that in the comments. I can't.
Directly or indirectly, thank you.
Welcome
my
downtown.
response now has to be to seek out the best medical opinion that I can get and listen to what my doctors have to say. In closing, I'd like to say thanks to Dan and the ESPN family, the camera operators, the medical staff at the Rose Bowl, all who responded in the way that they did and afforded me the care that I got. Thank you. I know now that even when we argue and disagree, I have the fullest support of each and every one of you. I'm looking forward to getting back doing what I enjoy doing most. See you in a bit.
So good.
Right, so still no word on what it was. I don't know about you, man, but if I was 54 and I just collapsed live on national TV for no apparent reason, I would be asking a whole bunch of questions like, what the hell went on? What happened? Why did this happen? I don't know. Just a theory. What would be your response?
Yeah. I would run a battery of tests. I'd get a whole lot of things looked at. I'm telling you though, that dude that we covered, I think it was last week, in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
He had like his blood cleaned out.
Yeah.
And he still didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, oh man, it's tough. It's really I don't know. I don't know what you can do to save yourself.
Yeah, I've heard like taking zinc and stuff is really good because it binds to the zinc, cleans out your blood.
Yeah, actually that is true. I forgot about that. Yeah, you can do that. Zinc and there's a couple other things you can do as well. Gosh, I can't remember. But no, yeah, that reminds me though. Zinc is a good one.
But there's
something else too, but I forgot what it is now.
But the question,
it's been like a couple of years since I did research on this.
But the question that we all should be asking is, why is this happening? Why are there so many sporting stars collapsing on TV, on football games, and if we're getting so many of them collapse on TV, how many more are happening in person?
Well, yeah, no, that's not complicated, that part of it. That's just simply because if you have a lot of clotting going on in your blood, and you're pushing your system at near the limit, as these sports people do, you're more likely to suffer like horrendous issues.
But he wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that. He was standing on the side of a pitch, doing an interview.
Yeah, but he was a sports guy, right?
Yeah. But he's also 54, so he's probably been out of the game for what, 20 years?
Yeah, I suppose he probably does fitness and things like that. But...
Oh yeah, he looks like he's in shape. He looks like he's in shape. But then but the basic level of fitness that everybody should be doing, and obviously I can't talk on that. I don't know about you, but I can't talk on that. I still don't do it. But the basic level of fitness that someone is doing to keep themselves in shape should not be causing someone to collapse on TV. There is obviously something. There is obviously an elephant in the room, and for the sake of the YouTube channel, we're not going to talk about it. But there's obviously an elephant in the room that we all should be wondering. Why are these celebrities, why are they collapsing? What is causing all these people to collapse on stage, on camera? And if that's happening, how many more in person are actually freaking collapsing?
Well, there's actually a lot that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
That go viral.
Yeah.
I follow another person who I watch his videos, and there's quite a lot of non-English ones as well from other countries. This is actually very common now. It wasn't in the past, but it is now.
All of a sudden, we have a whole bunch of people collapsing on camera and collapsing in real life, and we should probably wonder about it, right? If there is something that we should know, wink, wink, we should be looking into it.
Yeah.
But let's say it's no medical procedure that we've got. Let's say it's all the people out there claiming that it's that are wrong, right? Just hypothetically, right? Okay, then is it something we're eating in our food that's causing it? Let's play devil's advocate. Say it's something in the food that's causing us to collapse.
Maybe we should look into it.
Maybe we should be fucking looking into this.
Yeah, the other thing is the excess death numbers are actually pretty bad as well.
Mm.
You know, the I think it's up like 10 to 15% in some countries, up to 20% in others.
So,
as in, the excess death rate is actually quite scary. That this is another major elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about.
So during excess death and during COVID and 2019, percentage excess in Queensland was 9.7, in New South Wales was 10.3, Victoria was 13%, South Australia was 9%, 9.2, Northern Territory was 10.6, Western Australia was 6.2, and Tasmania was at 14%.
I wasn't exaggerating. Maybe with some states I did, it was under 10%, but like by a smidge.
Yeah, it
like
was.
In some, yeah, 10 to 15% in some places, up to 20% in others. Yeah.
So in Australia in 2020,
but it continues. It does continue to this day.
Yes,
these excess death.
Well, it's starting to go down again. But in Australia, excess death 2020 was 3.1%. Excess death in 2021 was 1.4%, right? So it went negative 3.1 up to 1.4. So that's a jump of about 4 or 5%, right? Then in 2022, it jumps from 1.4 to 10.9.
Yeah.
2023, we're back down to 9.1, but it's still like 11 or 12 percentage points higher than it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, and now it is a little strange, these peaks and troughs. I don't know, I don't have an explanation for that, because I've seen that.
I do.
It goes up. Can you say it?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a thing that you can do that a friend can help you when you want to climb over a wall. They can give you a thing. So there's those. Yeah.
Like I would say that the reason in 2022 was probably a lot of the, like the first or second.
And then there's third and fourth.
And then there was, in 2023, we're probably getting, like I was trying to climb a fence on the weekend, and my mate gave me a boost over the fence. It was great. It was terrific. Helped me climb that fence right over. It was just boosted right over that fence. It was fantastic.
Yeah, there's another thing as well that does happen. I do believe that there is a small number of people that are affected by long COVID.
Yep.
That apparently can cause quite severe issues. I don't think it ends people that often, but it can in some rare cases. More like I'm affected by this one whenever that particular virus is hanging around the house. Since I have a kid that goes to school, it seems to show up every few months, and I know I've got it because I can smell things burning. No matter what I do, anywhere I go, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
things smell like burning wood stoves.
Oh shit! I've had that the past couple of days. Have I got fucking COVID again?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's attacking it's attacking the olfactory nerve again. Yeah.
I didn't even know I had it. I've got a rat test. I can go get a rat test myself. But at the end of the day, like I noticed that the past couple of days I've been smelling something that smells like burning wood. If that's one of the signs, then yeah.
Yeah. It's similar with a lot of people. The wood burning smell.
Right.
It's pretty weird. Yeah, but I mean, it can also hit the heart a little bit. Long COVID can also hit the heart.
And also, also, I do want to say too, do I think that locking people in their homes, forcing them to not go out and exercise, or stopping them from even proactively exercising, and also stopping them from getting medical attention has probably aggravated these situations or made these numbers slightly higher? Yes, most likely. That's why I think we saw probably a 4-point jump in 2020 to 2021. But you are remembering that we also went from 2021 to 1.4 up to 10.9. That's a huge jump. And we're still at 9.1. So, like, you know, like at the end of the day, now obviously people are going out, they're starting to exercise again. You know, I can't seem to drive home from work at like 9 o'clock in the morning without seeing a whole bunch of people running around on the streets and exercising, which is great. It's terrific. Makes me feel bad. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I would say that number's probably coming down because people are starting to exercise. People are starting to go to the doctors and stuff again. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's definitely interesting that we still have around, you know, 9 or 10% for people that are dropping for excess. Now, keep in mind, an excess death in this situation is a death that not normally would have happened. So this is when they've gone through, they've ruled out cancer, they've ruled out AIDS, they've ruled out all other diseases, old age, everything like that. These are deaths that not normally would have happened at the same time period and stuff like that. So it's actually, it's a really interesting thing. All right, is there anything else we want to talk about before we jump on to the very next thing, which is it's actually going to be X. Although actually we can't actually.
No, yeah, we can move on if you want. Yeah.
Actually, we can't actually do X because I've hit the limit on how many tabs I can have on my screen.
Yep, there's a limit.
Apparently, I have.
Well, you found it. That's impressive.
Well, yeah, I've still got all the tabs open for like the past 3 days because I still have to do all those videos. So,
Wow.
yeah. So we're probably going to leave it there, guys. It's about an hour and a half anyway, so it's probably a good spot. Unless I open up a brand new window completely.
Actually, that might work. Yeah, if you open a window.
New window. And then Firefox. There we go. Okay, that works. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so Twitter is being rebranded to X. So
Terrible.
I don't mind the name, but it's not going to work for like marketing, but everybody's going on about him doing it overnight. It's this has been something that he's been going on about for a while.
Yes, and they're not actually going to rebrand everything instantly. It's going to be a process. Actually, something funny that a lot of people are making fun of X, by the way, for redirecting x.com to Twitter, and apparently all these people were making fun of the fact that it didn't work. That for like 6-7 hours, it was completely broken, the redirect. Actually, different parts of the world, DNS propagates at different speeds. So, but yeah. The issue was just simply that a lot of people their DNS, their ISP was slow, just way too slow to get the update.
So,
and maybe Elon should also know that and maybe not tweet it out so hastily. But anyway,
so I have gone through and just checked. We have lost the bird. It is now the X logo on Twitter. It still does take you to twitter.com, and if I type in x.com. It does actually also redirect straight to Twitter page now, so that is working now.
Yeah,
but
it is working now.
Yeah. But guys, obviously, so Elon rebrands Twitter as X. He did have this massive, great big hologram on this Twitter building that has literally just the X on it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty cool logo. But in a radical rebranding of Twitter, owner Elon Musk has replaced Twitter's iconic bird logo with an X. Musk made the shock announcement to his plans early Sunday, late Sunday. Hours later, Twitter then became x.com and now points to twitter.com. Interim X logo goes live later today, he wrote, shortly before sharing a photo of Twitter's headquarters lit up by a giant new X. The Twitter website now features the same logo while the familiar bluebird is gone. Previously, Musk said he was bidding adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds. Twitter founded in 2006 and has used its vivid global recognition blue bird emblem for more than a decade. The renaming could be seen as something of a brand overhaul. Hail Mary for the company. Wow, really? This is why I hate mainstream media, because it's so wrong sometimes. In recent months, he's repeatedly warned that Twitter facing step loss will revenue. Okay, it's got nothing to do with revenue or bankruptcy. This is part of his whole reason for buying Twitter was because he wants to make this one-stop platform called X, and it's going to be doing everything from tweeting to money to finance to financial payments and loans to basically news to basically everything. You are going to be using this X for all of your online shopping or all of your online activity.
Just something kind of funny about it, though, I might mention. There's literally a clip, I've actually seen it, though, that Elon Musk, he's like saying that X would be, at some point in the future, up to 50% of all of, financial transactions. And I'm just like, oh dear God, no, that's not gonna happen.
Well, you never know.
Unless, of course, it becomes... Because one of the things that I think... Okay, I don't know if he's actually said this, but I've heard rumors or like other people say that Elon has sort of thought of it as an intergalactic platform.
Yep.
That it would also do like messages between Mars and Earth.
Yep.
Yeah.
He has big plans. He has big plans. And by the way, he has been looking at doing this since April. Since April, we noticed that we noticed then he was going to do the rebranding. So the media is sitting here saying, oh, it might be because of financial reasons. Really? Because he's been planning this since April. Now, the reason why it hasn't happened until now is the eBay reason, right? eBay one day, overnight, changed their background to white. Everybody lost their shit, right? Used to be yellow, and they changed it overnight to white. Everybody lost it. And then, so they went back to being yellow. And then what they did...
Yeah.
And what they did was gradually, every day, they increased it towards white by 1%.
I just thought I might just say that I never remember eBay being yellow.
No.
I'm one of those people who suffer the Mandela effect of eBay was never yellow.
Let's see if I can find a photo of it.
Yeah, I've seen the photos too, and I'm like, I don't remember it ever looking like that. Very strange to me. Yeah.
So here's one of the original eBay backgrounds or photos. Is here. So you have eBay, and then you have the backgrounds here, and it was always yellow. And there, they went through and basically just made it white, but gradually did it 1% every day, or moved it 1 percentage point towards white. And now it's white, and nobody has even noticed. Like you say, you don't even remember it when it used to be yellow.
That's what. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want to make a change, you can. Yeah, you can just. I think you just do it 1% at a time, and people will freak out a lot less. You know.
Yeah, gradually. Yeah. It's the same with like massive updates for Facebook and stuff like that, right? They don't move everybody over to the new systems in one hit. They do it gradually, because then you get a whole bunch of gradual people complaining, and not like a whole mass amount of people complaining at one stage.
Yeah, maybe someone should have told that to Steam though, because oh my god, they changed it a lot recently.
Have they? Oh, okay. So
yeah, Steam got quite the update a few weeks ago, and it's just like wow.
Oh, I noticed that. Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah, that's the new whole UI. Ugh, yuck.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Will Elon's X rebranding help Twitter soar to new heights? When Elon tweeted, "The bird is freed," he brought Twitter last year. It was presumed he was referring to the liberating the platform for its figurative shackles. Now he has boasted the brand's out of the nest altogether. So just got booted off OBS.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow, they don't like you.
They really don't like us talking about. Yeah.
Apparently anything.
Yeah, apparently us talking about Twitter is bad. Let's keep going. So shortly before announcing the X move, Musk said that Twitter was still cash flow negative, spending more time on the business than it takes. They keep trying to link this, him going through and finances, to him rebranding. It's got nothing to do with that. Musk's rebrands Twitter, replacing the bird logo with X. So here's from news.com.au. Elon Musk killed the Twitter logo on Monday, replacing the world-organized blue bird with a white X as the tycoon accelerates his efforts to transform the floundering social media giant. Really? You think this is floundering? Musk and the company's new chief executive, Linda Yaccarino, whatever her name is, announced the rebranding Sunday, scrapping one of the technology's most iconic logos in the latest shock move since the tycoon took over Twitter 9 months ago. All right, I have an idea for a new logo for our channel. You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
The blue bird laying dead on the ground after it's been shot by a shotgun.
Oh, wow.
How bad do you think? How mad do you think?
You have no love for the platform.
How mad do you think people would get over that?
Oh man, yeah.
Or just like Elon Musk, like with a shotgun pointing at the bluebird. He describes the logo as minimalist Art Deco, which it definitely is, and has updated his Twitter bio to x.com, which now redirects to Twitter. Like I said, he's been planning this since April.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
He's been planning this since April. This is not new, guys. This has nothing to do with like, you know, like, and like even in this article, since Musk bought the Twitter for $44 billion last October, the platform's business has collapsed as markets soared on Musk's management style and mass firings. Does anyone want to tell him that if he's doing mass firings, that the platform's not obviously in problems? Like if you're able to go through and fire 75% of your workforce, and the platform is still up and running, and in fact putting out more features now than it ever was,
yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean it's floundering. But
there's also something interesting. Other social media Silicon Valley companies have low-key noticed that you can fire 70-something% of your staff, and still be just fine. And low-key, like, they're not hiring and they're like letting people go. It's kind of like it's spreading. To other companies.
So
which
X
is great for great. It's great for the economy.
X isn't a super app, it's just Twitter, says Wired.com. Twitter's rebrand to X is both a bad joke and an attempt by Elon Musk to realize his decade-long ambition for an all-conquering super app. Wow, they really don't like Elon, do they? Last time,
I can tell the bias in that article's tipping.
yeah. So last time Elon flipped the bird at the users, it was to snatch Twitter's logo to a grinning Sibyl Labia, hilarious inside joke that pumped the value of the Dogecoin cryptocurrency, in which Musk was an investor by 30%. That class action is still pending. Over the weekend, the former richest man in the world crowdsourced a logo for the platform, which this morning had been rebranded to X.com. Like, they really don't like this. They really don't like this idea at all. Obviously, SBS. Bird has flown as Elon Musk Twitter says X logo is here. Elon Musk, abcnews.com. Elon Musk's Twitter rebrand as X. Here's why. X brand to Twitter rebrands to X as Elon Musk loses the iconic bird logo. Like, it's... Yeah, the media is losing their collective shit over this. Now, at the end of the day, I like the idea... I'm non-partial to the idea of an all-encompassing app. I think there's probably some merits to it, especially if the all-encompassing app allows for freedom of speech and stuff like that. Then that's great. He is calling the posts on X as just X's now, instead of tweets, because obviously they've lost Twitter. They don't use Twitter anymore. They only use X. So he's now calling it X's, which kind of makes me remind me of my ex. But anyway, which obviously is not always not always good thoughts when it comes depending on your ex. But at the end of the day, I don't like the whole X's. I think it would have been better off staying as Twitter, but I do get why he is doing it. And this has nothing to do with finance. This has to do with him building his all-encompassing platform. I don't know. What are your thoughts with the whole X thing?
The all-encompassing platform thing to me sounds like dystopia. So I'm not for it. I will stay the heck away from that. As for the rebrand, I think it's silly. Yeah, it's not a good idea. One does not throw away, a decade plus of branding. That's also search engine optimization is just not going to work very well with a single letter name. That's not going to work too well. But I guess he'll try. And the other thing, Art Deco. Yeah, also terrible. Conservatives historically have not been very supportive of Art Deco as a style, so yeah, that's probably not great. But maybe I don't know. Maybe these days they don't care. We'll see. Modern audiences, I guess, that's what they say. So we'll see how it goes.
Modern audiences is normally a pretty bad word to use, but do you think that people at the end of the day will really care too much about the Art Deco style, though? Like, if you go...
I'm not sure. Historically, no. Art Deco is not very popular with conservatives.
But I mean, do people really care? Like, how many times do you see the X logo? I was on Twitter earlier today. I didn't even notice it changed.
Oh, I did. When loading Twitter, there's a little icon in the center before the JavaScript launches and takes over the screen. There's a little X there in there now.
Yeah. So I didn't notice it, but like I say, as for the all-encompassing app, it really does depend. I don't know if there's much of a difference between an all-encompassing app owned by one guy or 30 companies all owned by one guy who also just happen to basically control everything while being subdivided.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the all-encompassing thing or something being centralized and having too much power, it just I don't know. I don't trust it because we have plenty of precedent to say, well, no, you can't. Like,
yeah,
like Apple, Samsung, all these companies, Amazon, so on, so on. If they told you the truth of what they are doing now, if they told you that that's what they were going to do 5-6 years ago, we wouldn't have supported them then. No one would have. But they don't tell you the truth. They come in, they're very lax with what they do. Everything's more open. You can do more things. The battery, is removable, and so on and so on. And then the years go by, they gain massive market share, and then they start locking everything down. They do this over and over and over. I don't see why Elon Musk would be all that different. He'll be less evil than the others. But then what happens when it's not Elon Musk at the helm anymore?
Well, that's true too.
Eventually, he's going to die, and someone else is going to take his place.
Well, not even die. Like, he's obviously, like, he has SpaceX, he has Tesla, he has all these companies that he's running. So at the end of the day, eventually he's going to have to, give the reins to Twitter to someone else, right? This is this new CEO that we keep hearing about, which obviously rings alarm bells because she's bringing in some of the old rules when it comes to deplatforming. But at the end of the day, it's not even just him dying. It's just him even possibly going through and just simply, giving the reins over to someone else. But like I say, look, I suppose, like I say, I'm a little bit cautious when it comes to the whole massive app for everything. But the only silver lining I have is that we already have that now. At the very least with Elon, maybe there has a chance that it's going to be freedom of speech and stuff on there. But
and also Tesla is his baby, right?
Yeah. Well,
you just look at how locked down and DRM Tesla is, like the cars.
Are they though? Because
they are massively, yeah.
So I know a guy who has a Tesla, and he's able to put on apps on there and do play whatever he wants. He's able to play Spotify.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah,
I meant more like as in modification and right to repair.
Right.
For example, the battery capacity is also something that is defined on the server.
Right.
Like, so if you go in and remove the battery and put a larger one in, you can't change the battery capacity, even if Tesla did it and make a mistake.
Right.
Which is actually that this has happened. There's a story about this. There's a guy who bought a second-hand Tesla,
right,
and when he got it serviced, there was some kind of strange issue that occurred with the transfer of ownership, and the battery capacity went down.
Right.
And and the other thing, like the heated seats, there's a lot of DRM in there where things can be turned on and off. Like the car comes with all this functionality, but you don't own it. Yeah, it's like an Apple.
Yeah. Well, it's like Samsung too, right? That's both
yeah.
the same.
So how is Elon that much better when compared to this question?
Well, I'm not getting I'm not getting banned on Twitter for saying that there's a certain medication that's causing injuries.
Yeah.
That's how he's better. That's how he's better. Because at the end of the day, how many, Babylon B. The Babylon B got banned on Twitter 1.0 for saying that men are men and women are women.
Yeah.
Now, the simple stating biology causes you to get banned on Twitter. Back in the old days. We don't have that now. You can go on there and you can say, like men are men and women are women and not get banned.
Yeah, but you probably still shouldn't.
Why?
Because Twitter is not the only thing. Twitter itself is not the only thing that is looking at your tweets.
No, of course not.
So is like the establishment and every other data gathering system in your country.
Yeah.
So.
But here's the thing, right? And this is my problem with Australian, right? Is that we had some of the toughest lockdowns in Australia, right? Our heritage is Ned Kelly, who robbed banks and shot at cops because they talked trash about his sister. We are based on convicts from the UK, the £10 palm and all this sort of stuff, right? And then we had the government tell everybody to stay in their homes, and everybody was like, okay.
Yeah. How things have changed.
They can't arrest everybody if everybody is holding up 2 collective middle fingers. My old job I used to work at, I got fired because I wouldn't take the poke. Right? There were 3 to 5 people out of 100 that stood up and didn't want to get it and got fired because they wouldn't take it. That 3 or 5% left that company reeling still to this day. They are still reeling from that decision to fire those 3 or 5%. Imagine if that was 80 or 90%.
Yeah, but it's not.
But hang on.
I know that this country saw the largest protests in the history of the country, but that still didn't stop or change anything.
It did. Because
Not
when we
that
had
I know of.
the day after, the week after, we had 500,000 people marching on Canberra. All of a sudden, all the mandates started disappearing.
Yeah.
The week after, not a month, not 2 months, not 3 months. The week after they started winding back the mandates, when 500,000 people marched onto Canberra. You going to tell me nothing changed after all those protests?
I don't know. Maybe I'd have to go back and have a look at the timeline, but my understanding was that a lot of these things were already planned to be wound down anyway. By that point.
Not as far as I'm aware. I don't remember seeing them winding down anything.
Yeah, I mean the mask mandates had expired like weeks before that, like on the laws on the books, like for example, that they were well expired.
I'm not sure about the mask mandates because I never wore a mask anyway.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I printed out the actual law as well and took it with me so that in case I needed to show any shop owners or anything. But like the thing is those protesters, by the way, they were shot with acoustic weapons. They had burns on their skin
and rams and stuff. They call it. I believe they call it NRAMs or something. Yeah. I covered that on the day at the time. But I was going to say, but at the end of the day, but regardless, if 80% of people in the workforce had said, "You bring in these mandates, we would walk," we wouldn't have had the mandates.
Yeah. The problem is that that's not what happened. It was like under 5%.
But how many people were sitting there thinking at the time, boy, if only the other people had stood up? How many people were on? How many people were on the fence line? How many people would have sat there and thought, if only someone else would stand up? And guess what? While everybody else is sitting around in a great big circle saying, I'm not going to be the first to stand up, no one stood up. All it takes sometimes is for the people to stand up. That's all it takes.
I really wish that more people would stand up.
Yeah. It's up to the people to decide. And by the way, guys, we've got a whole bunch of scary stuff coming down the river. People are going to have to decide whether they want to stand up or not. It's going to be up to you guys. Yeah. Because I tell you what, there's stuff coming through. I'm going to pack up and I'm going to move to Thailand. Or Sweden.
You're serious, yeah?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's some laws coming down that are wow, like we should cover them on the next episode because they are truly dystopian.
Yeah, we have talked about them from time to time, like the pandemic pack and the misinformation and disinformation campaign and stuff. But we could do like a whole video, like a whole day on just Australian laws and what's happening. 15-minute cities, 20-minute cities, the Great Reset. We could do it all in one day, actually. holy dooly, that video would be demonetized. Could you imagine us doing a whole day on just like 15-20 minute cities, the Great Reset, all that sort of stuff?
It would be fun, but yeah, you wouldn't be doing it for the channel statistics.
Yeah, we should probably do that one day because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. But anyway, guys, getting back onto Twitter. Look, at the end of the day, like I said, I am optimistic but cautious when it comes to Elon and Twitter. I do want to see what this new girl is like because I am hearing some horror stories about her bringing back in some of the rules that were causing deplatforming and stuff. But we are also seeing them move up towards an election in America. You would expect some of that censorship to start coming back in because they are approaching the presidential campaign. I am totally not surprised when that stuff happens. All right, last story for the day. There is something else I do want to cover, actually. So I'll bring that up. But
let's go for it. Let's do it.
So we covered this earlier. Now that I've seen the X, now I can't not see it.
Once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it.
So someone's saying something about some guy that used to run a... Yeah. Oh wow, apparently now there is climate change interpretive dance. It's created to cool the earth and release awareness. Personally, I think if a whole bunch of people were burning up energy and stuff to dance, it's probably going to make things hotter slightly. But anyway. Greta Thunberg was arrested. Do we want to cover this as well?
What? Okay.
Yeah. In a move that was totally not, it was totally not staged for cameras or anything like that.
I was about to say that. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, was this another scripted one?
Yeah. So we'll cover that. But the big thing that we wanted to cover was... Oh, by the way, Tom McDonald is having a new video come out on Friday. We could probably very quickly cover that.
Today.
That's just fun and joke. All right, let's see what Tom McDonald has to say.
I'd like to teach you how to properly speak on the phone with someone who uses they, them pronouns. Thank you for coming to my demonstration. I will be dropping a brand new music video this Friday at 9 a.m.
He just hangs up on him. I love his videos, I really, really do. Alright, Greta Thunberg has been arrested. She has put out a press release, which is, anyway, whatever. Alright, Greta Thunberg carted off by cops at Sweden protests hours after getting fined for blocking oil tankers. Wow, I was right about this. I actually made a post hours ago where I said, what's the bet? She gets a slap on the wrist and released. Greta Thunberg was hit with a fine on Monday for defying cops during a protest in Sweden last month, but the punishment won't stop the climate activists from taking part in another demonstration where she was detained by police just hours later. A Swedish court slapped the 20-year-old Nobel Peace Prize nominee with a fine of 2,500 krona, or about $240.
Oh dear.
Wow. So in other words, for PR. For blocking oil trucks in the southern city of Malamo during the June 19th demonstration with Reclaim the Future activist group and ignoring police orders to leave. So in other words, she was fined for not getting out of the way when the cops told her to. Shortly after the hearing, however, Thornburg was back at it, getting carted off by cops when she once again blocked access to an oil terminal in the Malam Harbour. She has pled not guilty to the civil disobedience charge over the earlier protests and remained defiant in facing the penalties. So this is just PR. This is just PR. For a start, cops do not normally pick people up, one under each arm, and drag them off. Literally, well, they're literally being carried off the ground. Like, this is just PR. That's all. This is PR. What's the bet? She gets another $240 fine or something like that, and told not to do it again. And meanwhile, she'll go back out and do it again. She has put out a statement, which
while
is...
we are here, while we are here, and of course other environmental and climate and human rights activists all around the world are facing even worse consequences for their actions, of course, as we know it. We must remember who the real criminals are, the ones who are committing the real crime.
Would that be the one disobeying the police officers? Just asking.
And that will be true even if we have jailed all climate activists in the world.
Wow, she's talking about jailing people. Now she says jailing climate activists here.
Because we have truth on our side. Jailed all climate activists in the world. Even if we have jailed all climate, and that will who are committing the real crime, and that will be true even if we have jailed all climate activists in the world, because we have truth on our side and we have morality on our side, and that will not change. Well.
Wow. Okay. Inspiring stuff there. Good on you, Greta. Go get arrested again. Obviously, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't know. Anything you want to say about
Not much. I mean, at the end of the day, I find that her policies would just basically kill, I don't know, 2 billion people. So
yeah,
I see her as genocidal.
Yeah, and by the way, she's also wearing clothes which are probably used in, and at the very least, oil is used to manufacture those through electricity. I presume she's got boots on and shoes on, which I presume are made from leather. At the end of the day, she's obviously got a belt buckle on. You can see the belt there. Looks like a
she
belt.
also drives a Tesla.
Yeah.
And we know about the cobalt.
Cobalt and lithium, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway.
And a lot of copper. Those copper mines.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yep. But it's all about rules for thee and not for me, though, right?
That's correct.
All right. We do actually have a very quick update on Twitter. Apparently, they are taking down the Twitter sign as we speak.
Oh no.
So they're removing the writing Twitter from the billboard on the side of the wall, and I presume the bird will probably go as well. But my guess is they're just going to replace it with an X. But anyway, all right.
Yep.
So we do have one more story. Then we're going to head off for the day. Is Jason Ahern? The country singer that we responded to in recent news. He was the one that sang the song in Small Town.
Yeah.
So Jason Ahern's violent anthem sees a 99% rise in streams amid controversy. Sounds like they're a little bit salty about it. The controversy around the country singer Jason Ahern's latest single, whose lyrics and video feature threats of violence towards police protesters, has boosted its profile. In the weeks since the backlash to the song brewed online and amid fellow country artists, streams of Ahern's Try That in a Small Town have risen 999% from 987,000 to a whopping 11.7 million plays. According to the Hollywood Reporter, sales of the song have also increased from 1,000 last week to 228,000, according to the music database company Lemonade. Country Music TV, CMT, pulled the music video, which interprets footage of protesters facing off against police with Ahern's performance at Tennessee courthouse, known for the 1927 lynching of a black man, from its channel on Tuesday with no explanation for the decision. It had about 350,000 views on YouTube at the time. Now views have topped 16 million. So it's good to see that the Streisand effect is in full swing.
Yeah, it hasn't gone away.
No. Obviously, BTS's Kang Jung, Jason Ahern, and Morgan Wallen, the race for a Hot 100 #1. So apparently, the competition for the coveted #1 spot on Billboard's Hot 100 chart, which ranks the most consumed songs in the US, incredibly tight this week, as an unusual twist, not by 2, but 3 songs are battling it out for the top position. BTS member Kang Kook, country artist Jason Ahern, and the reigning top chopper Morgan Wallen are all in the running, highlighting the diversity of Americans' music tastes. Yeah. Jason Ahern's fans chant USA after singer claps back at music video backlash. So the country singer Jason Ahern clapped back at criticism surrounding his latest music video, Try That in a Small Town, by telling a sold-out show he loves his country, which prompted fans to chant USA. And reaction to Ahern's hit song exposes double standards at play. Sky News host Chris Kennedy says the reaction by the public and the media to the controversial song Try That in a Small Town by Music Ahern has exposed double standards at play. Usually leftist media commentary target Jason Ahern. Usually leftist media commentary targeted Jason Ahern as a racist and described the song as an example of right-wing paranoia, Kennedy said. But the song has topped the charts and people are buying it in droves. The interesting thing too is there is more backlash happening on Twitter. As you can imagine, Twitter is having a collective meltdown over the possibility of this song being popular. So here's him performing at a stage.
I love our country. I want to see it restored to what it once was before all this bullshit started.
Song? I haven't seen any leftist YouTubers talk about it. It's all over the media, but they know about the Streisand effect. The MSM apparently forgot.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Happened to us.
The leftist YouTubers and streamers. Yeah. None of them have talked about it.
I love my country, I love my family, and I will do anything to protect that. I can tell you that right now.
How about that?
There we go.
But here's what I want to say. A lot of things out there, and one thing I love, you guys know how it is this day and age, cancel culture is a thing. That's something that If people don't like what you say, they try and make sure that they can cancel you, which means try and ruin your life, ruin everything. One thing I saw this week was a bunch of country music fans that could see through a lot of the bullshit, all right? I saw country music fans rally like I've never seen before, and it was pretty badass to watch, I gotta say. Thank you guys so much.
I like him.
So I had people asking me, man, everything's going on with this song. Do you think you're gonna play it tonight? Do you think you're not gonna play it? And I said, you know, people that come to my shows, you guys know what I'm about. You know what I stand for. I've never shied away from that at all. And I know a lot of you guys grew up like I did. You kind of have the same values, the same principles that I have, which is we want to take our kids to a movie and not worry about some asshole coming in there shooting up the theater, right? So when somebody asked me, hey man, you think you're gonna play this song tonight? The answer was simple. The people have spoken, and you guys spoke very, very loudly this week.
So yeah, I like that. We've also had other country music stars come out in defense of him. So we've had country music star Brentley Gilbert said that Jason Ahern backlash made him mad as hell, and he strongly defends Ahern during a recent concert. Let's listen what he has to say.
What about Taylor Swift? Did she say anything?
Probably not.
In the face anymore. Just got a bunch of keyboard warriors hiding behind cell phones and laptops talking shit.
He calls them
I
go-go
got
warriors.
about this outdated thing the other night, and I decided I was going to say some shit back. And I realized that I don't have the passwords to any of my social media because I'm a liability. So I decided to write these sons of bitches a song, and I think y'all will appreciate it in Texas. This one's called Bury Me Upside Down.
Alright, we'll probably stop the song there because we don't get hit by copyright again. The leftists have their... the leftists are these... black racists, any minorities that don't go along with the old lefties agenda don't matter to the left. Okay, that's the literally the tweet from the left exit. The exit. Just in, shocking video reveals Amazon Alexa has put an explicit lyrics label on Jason Ahern's hit.
Alexa.
So here's a girl who actually goes through and is trying to listen to the song on Alexa. My biggest question is, why the fuck are you using Alexa? Jesus Christ, people. How many times do we have to tell you, stop using this shit, it's spying on you?
Boy, it's a really good thing that I have explicit content blocked.
Well, you don't do that.
Any of them, really. Even like, you know, any Google, any Alexa, any Apple.
On my Amazon Music because I do not want my kids listening to bad music.
Assistant
Alexa, play
off
Jason Aldean, Try That in a Small Town.
And go in and deny access to the Google. I think it's just basically called the app is called Google.
Yeah.
And like just deny everything.
Mm.
It breaks a few things, but your privacy is more important.
Yeah. So this chick has just gone through and just asked Alexa to play the song, and it's and it said that it cannot play the song while the explicit filter is on. So they've literally put an explicit filter on this song by Adam Hearn.
Alexa, play DMX, Bring Your Whole Crew.
Bring your whole
Unless
crew by
conservative
DM.
language is explicit now.
So that's interesting because she asked him to go through, and then after that, she also asked Alexa to play DMX, Bring Your Whole Crew. And it sounds like it's going to play the DMX song.
DMX on Amazon Music.
Wow.
Have you ever heard the lyrics to this song?
There we go. But they don't. I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my cause I.
This DMX song has literally says, I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my dick because I fucked a corpse. This song doesn't have an explicit warning, but some guy singing about try that in a small town does. Wow, interesting. Alright, so at the end of the day, obviously, there's people are noticing some weird stuff when it comes to this. DeSantis on John Ahern video controversy. This will be interesting. What the establishment shall have to say.
There, this one, he's talking about a small town. It's a song. He wrote it and released it in May, he said, and now here we are several months later talking about it.
Well, and that's the key, because the song came out in May, but the video just came out, and there are BLM protests and stuff like that, and that is why suddenly people are going, he's in front of that courthouse. You know, there was a race riot at that location. There was a lynching back in the 20s as well, and that's why suddenly it's become a big deal.
When a country music singer uses the backdrop.
Right, exactly. But like Todd just said, this site has been used for Hannah Montana, movies.
Green Mile.
So the same set where he filmed this music video has been used in Hannah Montana and The Green Mile, apparently. No one calls those films racist, but him singing about singing in a small town does. I said this the other day when I first talked about this video. I don't think it has anything to do with the backdrop or the music video, except for the fact that he has Black Lives Matter protests in the background playing while he's singing, and I think they're worried or they're upset that he's bringing attention to the Black Lives Matter protests. That's all I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Alright.
They don't want people to see the how peaceful they were.
Yeah, the mostly peaceful protests that just cost millions of dollars in damages and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, the summer of love, you know.
Yeah. I felt loved, you know, like watching those protests online.
Yep.
Yeah. Alright. Apart from that, anything else before we jump off?
No. I'll just say that either we can maybe do something special for the stream on the 30th of July. That'll be my birthday that day.
Right.
Or I may be busy and I won't show up at all. But we could maybe organise for something maybe if you want.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we jump off in a sec.
Okay.
Alright guys, apart from that, obviously this video's been helpful. Please smack that like button. All the clips will obviously be cut up and put up on YouTube, hopefully. I have a whole backlog of stuff, but I'll do the today's today and try and work through the backlog. But guys, obviously this is obviously going to be up on Spotify as well as a complete podcast. So obviously, please do go and feel free to join there or watch the video there for its entirety. Apart from that, guys, I'm Nonpartisan Media. Bob, you want to say bye?
See you later.
Enjoy yourself, guys. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you in a small town.